Hi YouTube and welcome back to my channel. I have thought about trying to do something a little fun on this channel. Obviously I haven't been posting a lot of videos recently, as you can tell if you look at my video history at all. I used to do weekly videos. I don't know if I will do this particular thing on a weekly basis or just whenever I happen to be in the mood for it, but I just thought it might be fun if I read aloud some of my fan fiction stories. So many of you may or may not know, I don't know, but I do write fan fiction. Primarily Dragon Age and Supernatural, although I've got some mixed in with Merlin and Teen Wolf and a bunch of others here and there. I have a smattering of other fan fictions, but the most that I've written is for Dragon Age. Was the one that kind of got me into writing fan fiction in the first place, and Supernatural has been kind of an addiction of mine as well, so I kind of have written a lot of those. With Dragon Age, I have a bunch that were kind of like rare pairs and stuff, but my primary pairings, because I am a shipper after all. I love ships, and I primarily do gay ships. So, and my primary ships, if you are in that fandom at all, for Dragon Age Origins, it's Zevastair or Zevran and Alistair. And if you're gonna come after me because Alistair's straight, don't even. Just walk away. Because these are my fanfiction stories, these are my headcanons. I don't care if he is straight as an arrow in canon. This is my alternate universe interpretation of how I would like things to go in Dragon Age. And if you don't like it, then you don't have to watch or listen or read or whatever. I'm going to do that. I'm prefacing this now because there's another character that in a second that is also canonically straight in the stories and whatever, but I'll try not to go off on that tangent too much. Okay, and then for Dragon Age 2, Anders and Fenris, or Fenders, is my ship there, and I write a lot of Fenders because I just love those two together. I know canonically they hate each other, but they bicker like they're married, and I'm sorry, I keep picturing them eventually figuring out that they have a lot in common, and smooching and other things commence after that. And then for Dragon Age Inquisition, I ship Dorian and Cullen primarily, or Culrian. And yes, Cullen is another one that's canonically, I mean, he was supposed to be bi. There have been numerous accounts from writers and things like that they had planned him to be bi, and there are audio clips of things that had been recorded where it was clear that they had been preparing for him to be a bi character. And some of the audio was recorded for that, but they never got around to the actual animations for it. Because they ran out of time, and so they just kept him as a straight character, even though that had not been the original intention for the character. So a lot of us who love Cullen and Dorian together have staunchly defended our fanfics that like to pair the two of them together. So, anywho. And then of course for Supernatural, my primary ship is Castiel and Dean, or Destiel, because, I'm sorry, they have a lot of chemistry together. They look good together. And yes, I just like them as a couple, even if it's, in the end of the series, never reciprocated by Dean. It's open to interpretation, though, so there's that. And we know Castiel was in love with Dean the entire time, so there. And I won't go too much into that tangent because lots has been said on either side of whether or not Dean is bi. And you know what? If he's straight to you, then he's straight. If he's bi to you, if he's bi. We can't ever call him, completely gay because, he definitely likes women as well. There is no denying that he enjoys the company of women, but he also seems to get flustered around certain men as well. And those of us who see him as a bi character are sticking to our guns on that one. So if you want to argue with me, you're not going to change my mind on it, so there's no point. Anywho, so my whole point of all this is an intro to me doing a series of readings of my fanfiction stories. I'm only going to do the ones that are rated G or T for teen, and I'm going to have to take a look at some of the M for mature ones, but none of my explicit smut ones are going to be included, because I know YouTube, and YouTube's going to, I mean, I can't be worried about demonetization because I'm not monetized, but I don't want them to ultimately like try and shut down my channel because I'm reading gay smut on my channel. So there will not be gay smut on my channel. There might be some of my longer stories that have smut in them, and maybe I'll just skirt around the smutty parts and read those aloud at some point. But for right now, I'm going to stick to the shorter stories and the ones that are rated G and rated T for right now, just because I just want to kind of keep everything kind of family friendly at this point for right now, and we'll see if I get into the more explicit stuff at some point, maybe, but probably not. Other than, you know, the ones that are longer stories where I can kind of gloss over the sex scenes because they're gratuitous, one way or the other. I'm going to start today. I have a series of 100-word drabbles that I wrote. They're all Dragon Age. They're a mix of Fender's Colorian and Zemister, so there's a mix of them. I'll give you the title and the pairing, and then read the piece. So I'm going to read all 5 of those today, just kind of as a starting point for this, and then from here on out, going forward, as I add to this series, and I'll do a whole little playlist for it, then I'll do like one story each, and most of the stories are anywhere between 1,000 and 3,000 words typically. So you know, you'll see how long they are, but I'll try and not give like a lengthy intro or anything as much as I will read. I'll give the title, the pairing, the summary of the story, and then just read the story and go from there going forward. This is sort of just like my intro to doing this series in the first place. And for anyone who's familiar with my channel, I do have a penchant for rambling, so I will stop rambling now and just read you the 5 pieces that I've got. These are all Dragon Age fandom, and then we'll go from there. So the first one, it's called Just Tell Me, and the pairing is Cullen and Dorian. There you are, Cullen sighed with relief. I've been looking for you everywhere. Dorian tried to remain nonchalant as he looked up from the book he was reading, ignoring the nervous butterflies that suddenly appeared in the pit of his stomach. Did you need me for something, Commander? Dorian asked. You wanted to tell me something during our last chess game, Cullen explained. When I asked, you left with a million excuses. What was it? Please, just tell me. I'm in love with you, echoed through Dorian's thoughts, but the lump in his throat prevented him from saying the words. The next one is Interrupted, featuring Anders and Fenris, or Fenders, from Dragon Age 2. Anders' mind reeled as the elf pinned him to his cot. His heart was racing as he looked up into those pale green eyes, full-blown with lust. Despite their constant bickering, he'd always found Fenris attractive. He just never imagined he'd find himself in this position. Fenris studied his face, hesitating, not daring to speak lest the spell be broken. Anders bucked his hips up slightly instead, indicating his interest. Fenris let out a quiet moan at that and began to incline his head, his lips barely brushing Anders, when a loud, urgent knocking was heard from the clinic door. Okay, this next one is Nightfall, featuring Cullen and Dorian. Night fell on Skyhold as Dorian made his way up towards the ramparts. Occasionally, he steals himself away to watch the light fading in the sky. As he rounded the corner, he found it occupied. Commander, I'm surprised to find you here, Dorian confessed as Cullen noticed his approach. I'm sorry, Cullen apologized nervously. I didn't mean to intrude. Nonsense. I would appreciate the company, Dorian reassured the man as he sat down. Would you care to share my wine? I'd love to, Cullen said as he reached for the offered bottle. His fingers lingered on Dorian's a moment too long. Okay, number 4 here is called Heat, and it features Alistair and Zevran from Dragon Age Origins. It was midsummer, and it was unusually hot by Ferelden standards. They made camp for the night, and Alistair was grateful for a chance to remove his armor and make his way to the nearby stream to rinse off the sweat and dust of the day's travels. Just as Alistair sighed in relief at the feel of the cool water surrounding him, he heard a lustful chuckle coming from the bank of the stream. My, aren't you a beautiful sight? Zevran cooed. Alistair felt heat rush over his face, and suddenly the stream no longer felt quite so cool. Alright, the final drabble that I'm reading today is called Craving, and is also featuring Cullen and Dorian from Dragon Age Inquisition. It all began, innocently enough, regular chess games in the garden, occasional drinks at the Herald's Rest, sharing a stroll along the ramparts. Then something changed, a small touch here, a quickly hidden blush there. Before he was even aware of it, Cullen began to seek any excuse to be in the mage's company. When the mage went on missions, his lyrium withdrawal and nightmares felt worse, as if the mere presence of the mage soothed his very existence. One afternoon, Cullen sought out the mage. He couldn't hide the truth anymore. Cullen craved Dorian more than he craved lyrium. Okay, I hope you enjoyed those. So those are the 5 little 100-word drabbles that I wrote as a challenge some years ago. Most of the rest of the stories I'm going to read are going to be slightly longer than that, so I'll do 1 per video going forward. And, if you're enjoying these, let me know in the comments below what you think, any critiques if you feel like, obviously with the caveat of, if you're offended by me making someone gay or bi in a story, then, I'm not going to change my opinion. So, you can save your time if you want to, or if you feel like typing out a long outrage, well, it's your time to waste, I suppose. Alright, I will try and, keep this as, this is the end of it, and then going forward, any more of these fanfiction readings will just be me reading the fanfiction story without any preludes or whatever. So, anyway, thank you for joining me, and like and subscribe if you want, and until next time, take care. Bye.